What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an Arsenal inventory update to do for you guys, vinyl this time, and I have another stack of 2020 releases that I definitely think you need to be paying attention to. But first, what we're listening to in the background. Unnatural. The Afflicted Path to Cursed Putrefaction. Yeah, this is a 2020 compilation release put out through Famine Records, and this is the vast majority of stuff that the band Unnatural has put out. All of their demo, all of their EP compilation releases, all jammed into this nice little compilation here. And this was given to me by the main guy in this band, of course, that being the one and only Ken from Ken's Death Metal Crypt. So I'm incredibly thankful and appreciative to not only be included in this, not only for him to be giving me a copy of this, but also including me in the thanks list of this little booklet here, which I think is pretty damn badass and rad. So thank you, Ken. I really appreciate that. And definitely go subscribe and support Ken's Death Metal Crypt. I would highly recommend that you do so. Okay. One last note to get into before I show the records. This is going to be the final Arsenal inventory video that I do for the calendar year of 2020. I want to get the last set of reviews that I had planned taken care of and straightened out before I go into my hiatus. And I promise you, you're going to enjoy some of these reviews that I have planned coming up. Some very big and major ones. So yeah, let's get into some records. And this first record I'm going to show you is of a band that has been making a lot of great waves over the last several years, and I think that this may be some of their best material yet. This is Nothing with the Great Dismal. Yeah. This is a 2020 release through Relapse Records, and if you're not familiar with Nothing, they are a band based out of Pennsylvania, and they have this very, very dreamlike sort of sound that encapsulates a lot of classic early 90s, mid-2000s era sorts of music. Think of stuff like shoegaze or post-rock or alternative or grunge. This band has so many different sorts of musical styles blended with what they make, and they've put out a very, very awesome, worthwhile discography of music over the last several years, going from their first EP to the Downward Years to Come EP to their debut album, Guilty of Everything, and then the stuff they came out with years later with Tired of Tomorrow, and the last time we had heard something from them with Dance on the Blacktop. Absolutely fantastic body of work, but this is their fourth full-length album, and I honestly think that this is definitely way, way better than Dance on the Blacktop in terms of musical variety, in terms of emotion, in terms of just being straight-up powerful music. And of course, you hear that in great detail here with The Great Dismal. It's just very, very memorable stuff to listen to. Songs like Say Less, Catch a Fade, Famine Asylum, In Blueberry Memories. Just some absolutely beautiful songs. I love the guitar playing, I love the drumming, I love the singing, and I love the production on this album. It is just absolutely massive. I would definitely say it's one of the better things Nothing has put out in quite some time, and I'm very happy that this album exists. So anyway, here's the front cover. There you see this old Santa-looking figure in the midst of the album cover, looking pretty dirty and grimy and all that other shit. Comes with this OBI strip that I believe came with the first press of the album. Back cover here with this eye, and then on the OBI strip you have the track listing for all the songs. I'm going to take this off so I can show you the contents of the record. Came with this huge booklet. It's a very huge booklet complete with lyrics for all the songs, some really awesome photography, really, really killer stuff, beautiful photography. I think you can see some of this stuff in some of the Nothing music videos. It also comes with a download code. If you want the download code, go buy a copy of the album yourself. And this vinyl variation came out in multiple different versions, and a lot of them all sold out very quickly upon the first several hours of this being available. But I was lucky enough to get this copy, which is limited to 1,000 copies, on a smoky gray blue with multicolor splatter. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, you'd have to see this thing in person to understand how beautiful it is. But I'm very lucky to have a copy of this. It sounds amazing, and it plays wonderfully. So yeah, if you're a fan of Nothing, if you're into what they've put out, I would highly recommend you get into checking out The Great Dismal. This is an absolutely phenomenal album all the way through and through. So yeah, check out The Great Dismal by Nothing. Really good stuff. From shoegaze, we head to Funeral Doom for this next one. This album has gotten some serious critical acclaim over the last year, and I think this critical acclaim is very well deserved. This is Worm with Gloom Lord. Yeah. 2020 release through Iron Bonehead Productions. And if you're not familiar with Worm, they are a duo based out of Florida. And this is a band that has a very distinctive sort of sound and story, because upon this band's earliest beginnings, they had that sort of same doomy sound, but it ventured into more raw black metal territories, especially with their first album. The second album, however, sees a vast different change in this band's sound and dynamic. They still keep the doom thing going, but it ventures more off into death doom sorts of territories. And I think with this shift in sound and style change, I think it works out better for Worm in the long run. Because with the 5 songs that you have on Gloom Lord, you get a glimpse into what Worm is really all about. And that is just creating some absolutely soul-crushing death doom metal, played very well, played very precisely. Putrefying Swamp Mists at Dusk, which is a really phenomenal way to get this album started. And then songs like Apparitions of Gloom, Melting in the Necrosphere. It's just absolutely amazing stuff to listen to. I love the deep bellowing vocals. I love the riffs, the chord progressions, the drumming, the production. It's just an all-around phenomenal sound. And I know that next year they're going to put out a new full-length or $20 spin, and this may give them even more well-deserved exposure. I definitely think they deserve it. So anyways, here's the front cover. Love this album cover art. Very nice. Dig the green stuff. Good the black and white stuff. Back cover, track listing and credits. This is a pretty bare-bones sort of vinyl. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the second press. And I was lucky enough to get a copy through Dark Descent, and this came on this really nice neon green slime with some black marbling effects going on there. I mean, this is a pretty vinyl here. Really, really dig the quality on this thing. Absolutely love this album. But yeah, if you're into Florida Death Doom, if you're into what Worm had put out previously, I would highly recommend you get into listening to Gloom Lord. This is well worth the hype, and you may hear me talk about this again when it comes time for the top 10 of 2020. So yeah, Worm, Gloom Lord, check this one out. This year I've talked about a lot of gore grind releases, most notably the releases from brands such as Metarasia, and with the Gore Noise album from Sistgurgle, and now we have one more challenger to enter into the arena. This is Miasmatic Necrosis with Apex Profane. Yeah, this is a 2020 release through P2, and I gotta tell you something. When I first saw the album cover for this, I was completely hooked and intrigued right away. I was immediately sold on this thing. I was sold on the album cover art. I was sold on this band's look, this band's style, and there's really not too much to know about them other than the fact that they are based out of the United States, and they play this very similar, well-established sort of death metal, gore grind sort of sound. And upon listening to this album, this is definitely the most cleanly, the most well-polished, and the most well-executed I've heard out of every gore grind release I've listened to in 2020. I would definitely say this is one of the best ones, too, because this completely went out of nowhere. And I really am absolutely adoring the fuck out of this album. I love the blast beats. I love the pitch-shifted vocals. I love the high energy and creativity. I mean, some of these songs are pretty crazy. Engorged Trachea Purulence, Seeping Parasitic Innards, embryonic cranial pulp, festering carrion transubstantiation, super, super over-the-top stuff, and I cannot recommend this album enough. In terms of the vocals, in terms of the music, in terms of the production value, this is a very worthwhile album. It's fast-paced, it's energetic, and it represents the true spirit of gore grind, although it does it in a nice and clean sort of fashion. But don't let the cleanliness distract you. This is some seriously good gore grind. So anyway, here's the front cover. Super glossy jacket here. I believe Mark McCoy, who's done work for Full of Hell, did this photography and album cover. It's super sick. Back cover with more sick gore and artwork. I love the inside of the LP jacket. Has some more killer gore on the inside. I love it when bands do stuff like this and labels do jackets like that. It's super duper nice. Comes with a printed inner sleeve. More killer photography. Lyrics, although you can barely read these lyrics because of how this looks. It's fucking killer. But anyway, I believe the vinyl is limited to 300 copies, and this first press came with a limited surgical gown splatter variant, which is blue with red splatter. Absolutely gorgeous. Sounds amazing. 45 RPM, I should go ahead and say that. But yeah, killer album. I believe this is going to get a repress eventually, so keep an eye out for it in case you missed it the first time. But yeah, P2 putting out another masterpiece in 2020 with this Miasmatic Necrosis album, Apex Profane. Go check this one out. Heading back to doomy death sort of stuff, this next album is an album that has been long in the planning and anticipating, and I would definitely say it's well worth the wait. This is Voidrot with Descending Pillars. Yeah. This is a 2020 release through Everlasting Spew and Sentient Ruin Laboratories. And if you're not familiar with Voidrot, they are based out of Minnesota. And not too long ago, I did a review of their split with Atavisma not too long ago. And they play this really, really killer, doomy sort of death metal sound. They put out a very killer first EP not too long ago. And of course, it's the aforementioned split with Atavisma. This is their debut full-length, and this is definitely an amalgamation of everything this band had done previously up until now, and I think it's definitely some of their best work to date. It sounds monstrous in terms of the vocal work, the musical deliveries, the pounding drums, crazy, crazy riffs, songs like the title track, Liminal Forms, Delusions of Flesh, The Weight of a Thousand Suns. Just some absolutely beautiful songwriting going on here in terms to the absolutely fantastic music being done here. Great stories to be told with this album, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing Voidrot have a very bright future ahead of them. But anyway, here's the front cover. Rest in peace, Timo Katola. Sad, sad loss for 2020, but he did the artwork for this. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful stuff. Back cover here with track listings and information. Came with a couple of interesting goodies. Comes with a lyric sheet, band member photos, credits, lyrics and thanks for all the songs. Comes with a poster with some more interesting artwork. Very, very beautifully done here. And I don't remember the vinyl limitations to be specific. I know this came on two sorts of variants, standard black vinyl and the version I got through Sentient Ruin, which is this really beautiful white bone, oxblood red merge, galaxy color, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely beautiful. I love this damn thing. It sounds amazing. And they did a really fantastic job with this vinyl presentation. But yeah, definitely check out Voidrot's debut if you like great death doom with Descending Pillars. Absolutely fantastic debut. And the last record I'm going to show you is some more killer death metal from 2020. And you can't mention killer death metal in 2020 without showing you something from the great Maggot Stomp label. This is KOMMAND with Terrorscape. Yeah. This is a 2020 release through Maggot Stomp, and if you're not familiar with KOMMAND, they are a 5-piece band based out of California, and they play this very aggressive, militant, in-your-face sort of style of death metal. This band put out two very, very killer demos within 2016 and 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, those two demos got compiled into a tape compilation through Maggot Stomp to help people get the word out more about what kind of a band this was. And this debut album is just more of a continuation of this band's crazy, militant sort of death metal sound. I mean, sick, low vocals, sicker riffs, sicker drum playing, rattling bass. I just absolutely love, love, love the way this album sounds. I mean, Gulag Orphanage, Siege, Third Grade Interrogation, Death Ships, just some seriously crazy songwriting going on here, and I'm very much into what this band is all about in terms of their look, in terms of their style and aesthetic. This is definitely a band you shouldn't be sleeping on. There are a lot of bands on the Maggot Stomp roster that deserve a lot more attention than the normal bands you normally hear about, and I would highly recommend that you give Terrascape a listen. They deserve your time and attention. So anyway, here's the front cover. Love the uncoated stock on this jacket. Very, very nice. Beautiful album cover art. Back cover with track listings and information. There you see the name of the album, Terrascape. Comes with a lyric sheet with lyrics for all the songs. Dig the typeface on here. Very nice layout and design. And I believe this vinyl version came out in multiple sort of variants. Clear vinyl, black vinyl, and the version that I got on a transparent red vinyl. 45 RPM, I should also mention. They did a fantastic job with this vinyl presentation. Sounds really good. Maggot Stomp death metal on the dead wax, which is another nice touch. Can't complain too much about that. But yeah, killer death metal that you need to be paying attention to. So this is KOMMAND with Terrascape. Go check this one out. I'm going to go ahead and conclude this video. I'm going to leave you some links to some of the bands I talked to you about here. If you happen to have heard or own any of these releases, definitely let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it, and we can go from there. Get ready for some seriously killer reviews to come in the coming final days of November. So I'm going to conclude this video. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until the next time, Army Ho out.